Good afternoon, my name is Emily. Today I'm going to be presenting to you a health intervention program called Nutritious and Delicious. Just a brief overview. This is a school-based health intervention program to be implemented in Wood County, West Virginia. The program will focus on nutrition, education, and encouragement to all 5th grade students at McKinley Elementary School. The intervention is a 12-week gardening program for the 5th grade class at McKinley Elementary. Students will be required to participate in the planting, the upkeep, and the picking of the harvest. This program will give students a connection to the food they consume, as well as improve their knowledge of nutritional guidelines and awareness and behavior towards fruits and vegetables. 1 hour a week will be dedicated to not only gardening, but a nutritional education session where students will learn more about what they are consuming and partake in an interactive class discussion. Teachers and volunteers will undergo curriculum training and will be provided with curriculum to assist in this process. Parents will be involved via newsletters, emails, and handouts. There will also be a couple parents' evenings in the garden for them to come and kind of explore what the kids are doing. Parents as well as other community members can also choose to be involved at the end of the program when the class will host a farmer's market at the school. The farmer's market will provide fresh produce to families that was harvested by the children themselves. We did conduct a needs assessment for this program. All of the information that we got was collected through the Wood County Health Rankings online, Data USA, the Census Bureau, and a fact sheet called Healthy Lifestyles in Wood County. The obesity rate in Wood County has reached upwards of 36%. As of 2017, the obesity rate for children was 20.3%. That's children 10 to 17 years old. In fact, childhood obesity has been pronounced the main childhood health concern for developed countries. Childhood obesity can also be a risk factor for other chronic diseases to develop in childhood or later in life. 38% of zip codes in West Virginia are considered to have a healthy food outlet, but the nutrition in Wood County is not doing so well. There are 1.7 grocery stores per 10,000 people and 0 farmers market. On the other hand, there are almost 10 fast food restaurants per 10,000 people. Another characteristic of this area is the high poverty rate. 28% of children under the age of 18 are considered to be living under the poverty line. Also, 38% of children are living in single-family households. This exhibits a need for more school-based health interventions to provide fresh produce and education to students at an early age. Children in homes below the poverty line may have extremely limited access to healthy options in grocery stores. For children in single-parent households, cooking nutritious meals and snacks could be somewhat of a rare occasion just because the parent may have limited time and resources. So, the action planning for the intervention strategies, we got some sources here. We have Harvard Graduate School of Education and the Journal of Child Nutrition and Management. The setting for this intervention is an elementary school setting. The intervention will encourage parent and family involvement as well. According to the Journal of Child Nutrition and Management, research suggests dietary patterns may be established in early childhood and carry on until adulthood. This journal actually published an evaluation of a garden-based nutrition program that had great success. So why the school setting? The school setting has been chosen because schools can play a crucial role in perceptions of food. The cafeteria sends messages to students every day about what is acceptable and what is healthy to eat, whether it's right or wrong. The school garden will use a hands-on teaching experience where students can learn how food comes to exist and to be more open to the idea of consuming fruits and vegetables on their free will. The mode of delivery, we have about 4 different modes of delivery here. Number 1, weekly garden sessions lasting a minimum of 30 minutes. Students will be required to record progress and measurements. Number 2, accompanying the garden sessions will be nutritional sessions directly before or after the gardening. These sessions will go over the progress in the garden as well as curriculum regarding nutritional guidelines, essential minerals and vitamins, portion sizes, and a discussion-based segment for students to share their experiences and ask questions. Number 3, handouts and newsletters will be sent to the home for parents to also take part in the program. These are hopefully going to improve at-home nutrition environment as well. These handouts will include things like recipes, grocery shopping tips, coupons to local grocery stores, and discussions from the classroom. Number 4 is going to be the school cafeteria. They'll be dedicated to providing more fruits and vegetables per meal. So this is a 12-week program from the initial planting date. There'll be some planning and recruiting in January and February to get volunteers, resources, donations, things like that. In March, we will start with baseline assessments. We will begin planting and we will begin the nutritional curriculum. In April, the sessions will continue. We will create discussions. We will begin tasting the harvest and we'll host the first parents' evening. May, we will continue sessions, start preparing for the farmers market, monitor the progress, inquire about summer gardening club interest, and we'll host the second parents' evening. In June, there'll be post-test assessments after everything is said and done. Of course, we will host the farmers market, and we will begin a summer gardening club once school's been let out. There are 3 goals for this project. Number 1 is to improve knowledge and awareness of nutritional guidelines and recommendations of fruits and vegetables. Students will be able to identify the fruit and vegetable recommendations for children their age by the end of the program. The second objective is students will be able to list the primary minerals and vitamins in their favorite harvest from the garden. The second goal is to improve self-efficacy, asking behaviors, and healthy eating habits of 5th graders. By the end of the program, students will have replaced one sugary snack preference with a fruit or a vegetable. By the start of the next school year, which is about 8 weeks following the end of the intervention, students will have increased their fruit and vegetable consumption by 2 servings a day. And the third goal is to improve access to fresh produce. Since students in this school may not have the best access to produce, that's something we are really looking to do. And the garden will grow enough produce by the 12th week of the program to host a school farmers market. And students participating in the school lunch program will be offered a minimum of 2 vegetables a day. The theoretical framework that is linked to this intervention is the social cognitive theory. Sources for this information came from the Journal of Child Nutrition and Management again, and the book Health Promotion Programs by Furtman and Allensworth. So the social cognitive theory was created by Albert Bandura in the early 1960s. This theory has been widely used in health promotion programs, and an evaluation of a school garden program published by the Journal of Child Nutrition and Management, it is stated that programs modeled after this framework are actually the most effective. The social cognitive theory states that an individual's behavior is uniquely determined by these 3 factors: behavioral factors, environmental factors, and personal factors. Underneath of these factors fall some constructs that are also very important. We have the environment, which is the social or physical conditions surrounding a person. In this case of the program at hand, the environment is crucial. As stated before, the students are getting messages from the cafeteria, the school, other students about what is healthy and what they should be eating. The environment suggested through this program will encourage and educate children on nutritional value and create a cooperative teamwork aspect to increase the social culture. The second construct is situation, and this is the perception one has on his or her environment. The third is behavioral capability, the knowledge and skill needed to perform a behavior. By teaching the students about nutritional guidelines and recommendations, they will in fact acquire the knowledge needed to perform healthy eating behaviors. 4 and 5 are outcome expectations and outcome expectancies. Number 6 is self-control, which is goal-directed behavior. By setting goals for students in the garden, they will practice self-control. This practice will intertwine with other subjects and aspects of the children's lives. Observational learning is the 7th construct. That is behavioral adaptation and acquisition that occurs from watching actions of others. So students will be watching teachers in the garden, they'll be watching other students in the garden, they will be watching other students try fruits and vegetables. So this is something that's very important. Self-efficacy is also very important, which is a person's confidence in performing a behavior. By the end of this program, the students will be at somewhat of an expert status in gardening and in fruits and vegetables. They will exude confidence in the subject, which will improve their eating habits and their outlook and their relationship with food. The last construct in this framework is emotional coping. Personal techniques employed to control the emotional and psychological states associated with acquisition of a new behavior. So, the characteristics and logistics. Some characteristics of the learner. As stated earlier in the presentation, childhood obesity has been pronounced the main childhood health concern in developed countries. With that information, we can gather this is a serious risk factor for subsequent chronic diseases. Early childhood interventions in elementary school provide a platform for setting standards and forming healthy behaviors. These interventions can help reduce the risk of developing obesity or other life-altering diseases. According to the lawrence.edu website, children in 5th grade, which is about 10 years old, are developing strong interest in hobbies. They are also enjoying problem solving, organized groups, games that allow for self-improvement, physical activities with mastering skills, and they obtain a high energy level. Some cultural considerations. According to the Public School Review, McKinley Elementary School has a diversity score of 0.22%, which is actually in the top 30% in the state. They have a minority enrollment of 12% and a student-teacher ratio of 14:1. The school places in the top 10% for students who are eligible for the free lunch program. All of these characteristics should be considered when implementing a health intervention program. This school was chosen because these students may not have as much opportunity for fresh produce and healthy options as others. A majority of these students are also part of the percentage that falls below the poverty line, and they may also be living in a single-parent household. I have also provided you with a logic model. This model was based off of one that was provided in a book called Physical Activity Interventions in Children and Adolescents. It goes through the inputs, activities, initial effects, intermediate effects, and long-term outcomes. And the size of the group is approximately 50 students, most likely a little less than that actually. We are measuring only one group of students in this intervention. And the contact time with the students will be a minimum of 1 hour a week for about 12 weeks. As stated before, there is option for extended time in the garden over the summer to help with the harvest. The cost and budget of this I have provided you with a table of the budget. The majority of the cost will be coming from the gardening supplies. After careful consideration of the resources necessary, the gardening supplies cost will amount to approximately $1,175. Other considerations would include material for posters, handouts, and newsletters, as well as material for the farmers market. With all this considered, the overall budget of the program will lie at $2,200 to allow for anything that we didn't come across at this point. Some resources. The program will rely on teacher training and curriculum. Many resources will need to be acquired for this program to succeed. We will need gardening supplies, volunteers, and experienced gardeners to help out. The USDA Farm to School Resource Kit offers each of these as well as other tips for school gardens, which is something we'll definitely be using. We also plan to formulate letters to local businesses to help with donations. That can be donations for supplies, for volunteers, for office supplies, for the posters. We will also send out letters to emails and parents. We will also send out emails and letters to parents to help with gardening supplies. Any at-home gardening supplies that they may not be using or extras around the house, anything like that. We will also need to create some partnerships. Other organizations to partner with would include the National Farm to School Network, Wood County Master Gardeners Association, the American Heart Association, local grocery stores and office supply stores, again for marketing and promotional items, the school PTA, and local farmers. Again, I did mention the USDA Farm to School program. Volunteers will be needed for the holidays and for summertime gardening to help out with that summertime gardening club. In order to assure enough volunteers are present, we will also partner with WVU at Parkersburg so volunteers can gain community service hours for their volunteer. So some methods to creating this intervention. We will be using curriculum and teacher training. We will be using partnerships. We'll use the school PTA for volunteers and to help with some organization, demonstration and guided practice, utilize tools such as the USDA Farm to School resource page, and the implementation of this intervention. So after addressing the necessary resources, partnerships, timelines, intervention methods, we can now move on to the implementation. Of course, as stated before, this will be taking place in McKinley Elementary School in Wood County, and it is a 12-week program targeting 5th grade students in the school. So we will start the program in March and hopefully run till June. I have provided a visual timeline that kind of goes over the timeline, but I'll also just touch base on everything. So first in January, February, we will address the needs for volunteers, resources, and curriculum. In March, we will begin our journey in the garden. Students will be getting baseline assessments or pre-test assessments at this time. We will start planting the appropriate seeds and going over safety precautions as well as assigned duties for the students so it's not chaos. Here, the students will learn their role in the garden and will start to form their own connection. The following months will be a continuation of the project process. In April, the students will begin testing their produce, and a parents' evening will take place where parents can come and enjoy the garden with their child. In May, the students and teachers will begin to plan the farmers market. Students will become involved with the planning process as well as the growing process. At this time, there will be an inquiry of interest in the summer gardening program. Newsletters will continue to be sent home bi-weekly, and a second parents' evening will be held. In June, it all comes together. The last week of the year, the farmers market will take place. The market will be open to parents and community members, and all that is asked is a small donation made to help the Nutritious and Delicious garden succeed in the next year. Again, I have provided a timeline that kind of goes over the evaluation as well. Methods for evaluating. This program will evaluate only one group of 5th graders in Wood County. The group has been selected according to academia, diversity, and socioeconomic background of the school. The school chosen is located in a lower income area in Parkersburg, West Virginia. Data will be collected at the baseline of the program and immediately following the program, and again as a follow-up 8 weeks following. This assessment timeline is based on a researched intervention by the Journal of Child Nutrition and Management. Baseline data collection will include participants being given a nutritional knowledge questionnaire, a food preference survey, and a school lunch recall. Well, they'll kind of go over what they already know about nutrition, what their preferences are, and then of course for the school recall, what they have been served in the past. These assessment strategies come from the Farm to School Evaluation Kit and the Journal of Child Nutrition and Management. Again, the process evaluation will take place via conducting and analyzing interviews with the children regarding the garden and the nutritional education sessions. This program will also track the progress of the garden with record keeping and journaling. Weekly quizzes and activities will be distributed to get a better idea of what the children are taking away from the program. Because the garden will be outdoors, we will also be documenting any inclement weather that may occur that can affect the sessions. The outcome evaluation, to assess the outcomes, we will again distribute the nutrition knowledge questionnaire, food preference survey, and the school lunch recall. After the 8-week follow-up, we will distribute a more lax version of these forms. We will also be measuring the amount of produce and amount we are able to give away at the market. In terms of analyzing the results, the assessment scores will be totaled and analyzed based on the scores at each milestone. So at the beginning, the interviews in between, and then the end, and then following 8 weeks after. Students will be picked at randoms for the interviews that we give. The second month of the program, the interview will be recorded, audio recorded, and will be reviewed and transcribed by staff members. Some program revisions and things like that. Once the evaluation is complete and the program has been analyzed, we will send reports to our partners, of course the PTA members, and all families in the school, especially those that were involved in the program. A report will be written to stakeholders, including the program planning, design, assessments, and outcomes. We plan to use the interviews of the students to plan for changes for the future of this program. We also intend to take any recommendations from teachers, parents, children, anything like that to help improve the program for the next time around. Some changes that may be helpful in gathering the results would be to use a control group and an experimental group instead of just the experimental group so we can compare the scores. Also involving parents more so we can extend it into at home even at a greater level. And integrating a physical activity component to the program would also help tremendously. If there are any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much.